communication was better tonight. Had a better approach from the start, and it was a quality group on the other side over there. So you got to come in and make good pitches and stay out of tough counts. And for the most part, we did a pretty good job of that tonight.
Just your thoughts on what Gallegos did and has done, especially with bases loaded.
Yep, he loves that situation. Apparently, he comes in and just ice water in his veins and he's got us out of big jams all year. So I gave him a big hug, and I could have got him too, though. He did great. He did great.
Are we making too much of this series to say that this is probably the biggest series you've had in the year, and this might be the biggest win you've had in the year?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously every series at this point in the season, it's big, especially when you're tied at the top. But coming in tied with the team you're playing, this is a great opportunity for us to pull away a little bit here. And so we just got to take it one game at a time, one inning at a time, one swing at a time, one pitch at a time, and make sure we execute.
The third time through against the heart of their order rolls around in the sixth. How aware are you of that when that rolls through, and then what are you doing approach-wise in those events?
It's an overrated stat, in my opinion, as long as you're making pitches. If you're getting tired out there, if you're fatigued, then it's one thing. But my pitch count was low going into that inning, and usually if you got a high count, third time through, second time through, it's going to be tougher. If you have long innings, we had some quick innings early in the game, which allowed us to be in a good spot in that inning, and then I just, for whatever reason, my approach changed just a hair, sort of the same way it did against Pittsburgh. I just got to make sure I stay on the attack and not fall into those deeper counts.
You look more like you tonight, what we've seen all season, versus those last couple of starts that were earlier. Did you make any adjustments, or what was the difference?
No, my start in Cincinnati started out great, and looking back on it, honestly, I was just overheated. Got overheated, and it's not an excuse. It's just what happened. And I just wasn't able to cool my body down. I went out there and I sort of was in a brain fog, and they put a couple runs on me real quick. Last start was just a total approach situation where I went into it. I let them change my approach instead of making my approach go out there, and then you have to make adjustments on the fly sometimes. But last time I thought they were going to be ultra aggressive, and they weren't. And I fell into a lot of deep counts, walked some guys early, and then by the time I realized it, I had 86 pitches through 3 innings. And so tonight I wanted to just make sure I attacked and made my pitches, kept the ball where I wanted to keep it, stayed out of bad counts, and that was what we were doing until that last inning there.
How much of a game changer is it for this ball club when Goldschmidt is Goldschmidt, like we've seen he does?
Well, it's just I just can't stress it enough, guys. You just can't judge. You cannot judge a player based off of 2 months. There was some of you fine gentlemen in here writing, this guy was a bust and that kind of stuff, articles early on, and you just always got to look back from the last part of the year, and then you can make it, you can make your conclusions on whether guys were good or not. And as players, what we have to do is we just have to stay focused. We have to go out and we have to execute, and we have to make good swings, and we have to swing at good pitches, and we have to make good pitches, and we have to stay out of deep counts, and we have to control what we can control. But he's one of the best players in the game. I mean, he's been one of the best players in the game. There's no reason to think that he wouldn't come around. And last year he did the same thing. He started off really slow last year, slower than this year even, and ended up, top 10 in the MVP like he always does, and 30-plus homers and a bunch of RBIs. So everybody in this clubhouse knew it was going to happen, but I'm sure glad it's happening now.
Adam, did you go back and look at all of the previous start here against the Cubs? I mean, 8 shutout innings. There was a lot to like about the results, but did you go back to that at all? Kind of draw from it?
Yeah, I watched. Every time I pitch against a team that I have previously faced this year, I always watch every at-bat off of those guys. I watched all my at-bats against all their players for the last couple years, but especially this year, see what they're doing now. And, it was just in Chicago, I was pitching a good game too, and I tweaked my hammy. That was, again, not an excuse, but that's why they scored those runs. I wasn't able to execute the same way. This game of baseball is all about, it's a singular competition, mano a mano, one-on-one. This is why I love pitching so much. And if I make my pitch, it's going to be very hard for them to hit it. And if I don't, it's going to give them a really good chance, especially with a quality team like that over there. So, I watched those games. I watched what worked and what didn't work and tried to build off of it.
I wondered if